All right, happy Wednesday night, everybody. Welcome on into the daily broadcast. Been a busy day, but we made it here. We're going to hang out for a little while with you guys tonight here on the daily broadcast, emanating forth and coming to you from the Raiderland Worldwide headquarters. All the chat line action brought to you by United Supermarkets and Market Street, right here in the Hubaplex and beyond. The supermarket that supports Texas Tech, puts their name on stuff, puts their money behind stuff, as opposed to the other supermarket around here that glad to take your money, ship it down south, and put it on, scoreboards and stuff down there. You make the call. Tonight, ESPN taking over the NFL Network and Sunday Ticket. Rest in peace, Sunday Ticket. How will they ruin it? How quickly will it take them to ruin it? Have you guys moved on from the Sunday Ticket? You guys tell me tonight. But this is kind of an interesting deal because it also, I think, tells you where college football is going with equity partnerships with private businesses. And we talked about that equity shares in the Big 12 and other conferences. This is the future. Will it be good for Texas Tech or not? We'll discuss that with you tonight. And then anything else that's on your mind, your questions, your comments, your thoughts here on a beautiful, hot, smoking hot Wednesday in West Texas. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. Brought to you tonight on the chat line by United Supermarkets, Market Street. Also tonight, Ultra Exteriors. That's right. Exteriors that are ultra. Well, they do more than exteriors, but, with the hailstorms and all the storm damage this summer, your roof might be, just a mess. Your windows might be all screwed up, siding, mess, all those things. They can fix it, but they don't stop there. They can do interior work as well. So give Warren Taylor a call at Ultra Exteriors in Lubbock. Services all of West Texas. So give Warren Taylor a holler. Ultra Exteriors. Tell him we said hello. Also brought to you by Fire and Ice Outdoor Living. Yep. Grills, smokers, everything and anything in between. All the cool stuff you can think of. Once you've got Warren Taylor getting your outdoor kitchen set up and your pergola's done and everything, then you're talking fire and ice, man. Then you're talking about dealing with those folks that they have taken it up to another level. You got to go see their Facebook page, Fire in Ice Outdoor Living in Lubbock. Like nothing you've ever seen. Trust me. All right, let's get it going tonight. The comments, the questions, everything else. Tonight's show will depend on you. We'll go as long as you guys are really fascinating, interesting, and otherwise. Indeed, Craig jumps in. The old school. He's an OG guy. The talking box is on. That's right. We just don't have David Collier right now. Just don't have that, Maybe later. I don't know that we've ever had a comment from the big Lubbock. Did you hear the definition of a Ute is a bozo? No, I did not know that. Baylor and Utah are hurt because they didn't make the preseason coaches top 25. Well, I guess they'll get over it. I assume they will. I thought was Utah not in? I thought they were. Where's my oh, come on. Did I actually put that somewhere where I can't find it now? I hate it when I put notes and things that I do, and then all of a sudden it's like not where I thought it was. Yeah, the preseason coaches poll. It doesn't really matter that much. No matter how much Don Williams would want you to believe at the AJ that polls still matter. Do they? Do they really? We didn't have a Big 12 preseason media poll because they didn't like the way they polled them last year. I don't worry too much about polls. I do look at odds though in Vegas, and I do look at what those people say, and the odds. There are a lot of people that think Baylor can get there. There are a lot of people that think Utah can get there. There are people that think Texas Tech can get there. I think the Big 12, when we look at who can win the Big 12 title this year, 6 teams. I got 6 teams under a blanket that can all get there, much like last year. The Big 12 is top heavy from the standpoint of not one or two, just simply nobody else can beat these 2 teams. It's top heavy because you got 6 teams that can all beat up each other and go beat other people. So we'll see how it plays out. All right. So ESPN taking over the Sunday Ticket. I first started watching Sunday Ticket in 1997. 97 and 98 when we became aware of it. It was a beautiful thing. Not everybody had it. I don't know if it was only on direct TV or satellite TV back then, but I kind of think it was. And you had to pay like $40 and you got the Sunday ticket, and it was glorious. And it helped fuel the NFL growth in the 90s into the 2000s and what we see today. So we see now ESPN buying the NFL network. That had been a partnership over the years. Now they're going to own it outright. And now they take over the Sunday ticket. They're going to ruin it. You know that, right? I mean, Scott Hansen will be there for like one more year. It's just a matter of how they're going to ruin it and how they're going to screw up and kill the golden goose. The Sunday ticket should be free. Absolutely 100%. That if NFL owners were smart, and they are in every other aspect of business other than football, it seems like a lot of times, it ought to be free. Next to nothing. Right? The ability for fans around the country to watch their favorite team no matter where they live. If you live in Lubbock and you want to watch the Packers and the Chiefs, if you live in Houston and you want to watch the New England Patriots, if you live in Jacksonville, Florida, and you want to watch the Las Vegas Raiders, why would you do anything to limit your product? Well, they've fallen into the trap of we charge for it and we think we can keep charging for it and it'll keep happening. Yeah, DirecTV had it on lockdown for years. Here's Andrew Siciliano. Not the original host, but one of the best ones. It's free in the UK. Well, hell, everything's free in the UK. It's a totally subsidized country that's going to collapse on the own weight of its ineptitude socialist democratic government. That said, you know, how's ESPN going to screw it up? Well, they'll start charging too much. Then you know what they're going to do. They're going to put their own people on there, right? And there'll be too many Stephen A. Smith appearances, and Greeny will be on there, and then this guy will be on there, and this girl will be on there, and then they'll have a panel discussion, and they will ruin it. They will stray away from what it is, which is nothing but beautiful football, the most compelling moments at any given moment in all the games that are being televised at that moment by the NFL, and they'll screw it up. And the day you know Sunday ticket is over is the day you're watching and they show a punt. And it will happen because Ed is going to get fired. Now, who is Ed? Anybody know who Ed is? Ed is the guy who was in charge of what we used to call the Snap channel. So it was in the olden days, going back to the 90s. It was the channel before you had like the matrix of all the games and everything. It was just a slate of scores and where the ball was, you know, down in distance and where the ball was located in a game. No video, just you'd go up and down this thing. You'd go, all right, channel 703, channel 704. And Ed was in charge of all that and updating that. And sometimes that channel, the Snap channel, it would just get, you know, it wouldn't update. You were like, Ed's got to take a leak. Ed went and got a sandwich. That there was this guy just sitting in a chair somewhere in Poughkeepsie, maybe upper New York State. We don't know. Could have been New Jersey. And he's just sitting there and he's got all this stuff and he's got stuff and Ed's updating it. When it didn't update, Ed was busy. Again, we're going back to 97, 98, where if you were watching the Sunday ticket with me and my friends, you had to be what we called Snap certified. You had to have the ability to move around to all the games. And again, this was before you had like a 4-game matrix or you had, you know, all this stuff. It was the games in their entirety and you would go back and forth. You didn't have a constant guy narrating it. You had to be Snap certified and understand what was going on, why you needed to be on this game, this channel. Let's go to Green Bay. Let's go to Philadelphia. Let's go to Denver right now. And there'd be a guy at the party, at the watch deal, and he was in charge of it. If a punt was shown, if a game went to break and if you had the remote, you were suspended the rest of the day. You were no longer Snap certified. It was glorious. ESPN's going to ruin it. I have no doubt. Alan, the SLC sports host in question were demoted to the 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. slot for a reason. Oh, SLC means Salt Lake City. He's responding to Big Lubbock talking about Utah, I assume, and that's a whole lot of insider trading right there that I wasn't prepared for. But I am prepared for your thoughts on how will ESPN ruin the Sunday ticket? How many of you still even subscribe and get the Sunday ticket? How many of you make it your package? And then we have the idea of if you want to watch every NFL game this year, again, I grew up 70s and 80s. The games were on 3 channels, ABC, NBC, CBS. Then it got wild in 1994. And Fox, on the strength of the Simpsons, the NFL never goes to Fox if The Simpsons is not a huge deal. That and Married with Children. So Fox TV has a couple of hits, and now they got enough money that they go to the NFL and they're able to leverage the NFL away from CBS in 1994. And you had to, if you wanted to get the NFL package on your local Fox, the Fox affiliates also demanded that you had a certain time window that you had to start airing news. Because a lot of Fox stations, like Fox 34 in Lubbock in 1994, they didn't have a 6 and 10 news. I think it was not until the late 90s, maybe, that they finally started a newscast. Because Fox told them, if you don't start doing news 6:10 or 6:09, it's news at 9, at 10, it's history, you're going to lose the NFL on Fox. So the local Fox affiliate, Raymar Communications, finally capitulated. Jeff Klotzman was the first. He was the first anchor, and I can't remember the blonde's name. Oh well, doesn't matter. You needed 4 channels to see everything in the early 2000s for the most part. Again, ESPN Sunday Night Football, you had a few things in there, some TNT stuff. All right, but for the most part, everything else. Now, do you guys know how much it would take a year to watch every NFL game? How much you got to pay? And I'm sure some of y'all have read this today and seen it. What do you think? Can ESPN get worse than the NFL Network broadcast? Yes, Trace. Yes, it can. Trust me, it can. ESPN will ruin it or make it awesome. Will they make it available to pick a team for market games? I would pay $30 a month just for Chiefs games. That sounds really smart, so they're not going to do that. Because the owners who don't have popular teams aren't going to want to see the Chiefs get more money than what they already get with their local rights on preseason and otherwise, and they're not going to allow that. So forget that. Sean Lindsay was next to Klotzman. She was later. She was not the original anchor for Fox News at 9. The original anchor, she ended up marrying a guy who played for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I'm going to, oh, man, Collier, somebody get Collier on. Sean was circa early 2000s. And a great kid, a great person. We love her to death. And she may or may not have attended Festival, the legendary summer party, the greatest summer party in all of Lubbock media history ever, in the history of ever. Might have been there. All right, so if you want to see every NFL game this year, you've got to pony up right off the bat for Sunday ticket. You got a $480 fee. Then you have 6 different streaming services. I believe the total is about $648 for the season if you want to see all the NFL games, or even just the games you're moderately interested in, or your favorite teams or whatever. That if you want to do that, $640-something. KFYO News, we would say news at 9, it's 10, it's corrected. Actually, the running joke inside the building back in the day was, at noon, it's 9. At 10, it's whiskey. Thanks for tuning in. Here are your top headlines tonight on KJTV Fox 34. I mean, I heard that. I mean, that's probably not exactly, what they would do. We'll go as long as the comments, questions are interesting. You got thoughts, questions, anything? Texas Tech. So we mentioned today the deal that ESPN and the NFL have transacted. The NFL now has a 10% equity stake in ESPN properties going forward. For that, they sold off the NFL Network, the Sunday Ticket, and a couple other things. They maintain the rights on NFL films and, a few other things. Doesn't really matter. But they now have a 10% stake in one of the biggest journalism outlets out there. Don't really care about that. Some people are saying ESPN will never cover the NFL fairly, honestly, ever again because the NFL owns a piece of ESPN now, right? I mean, that would be like a local TV station spending over $40,000 a year to advertise with Texas Tech, and then people saying, well, that TV corporation and company couldn't cover Tech fairly because they're in bed with them financially. And well, anyways, we're going to move on to a different deal. I really don't care about that anymore. ESPN hasn't covered anything fairly or adequately or otherwise for years. Doesn't matter. What does matter is what the NFL is doing is giving the path and showing the path to the conferences, the colleges, the individual universities. And I really think it's going to be an individual university and not a conference deal that will happen first. And I don't think it's going to be Texas Tech, although that would be fantastic if like Toot and Totem convenience stores said, we want to buy 3% equity stake in Texas Tech athletics, and we're going to infuse you with $50 million in cash, and going forward, we have a deal. That it's going to be the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the SEC, the Big Ten schools, Notre Dame, and Notre Dame already really has something like that with their deal with the NBC on their individual TV rights with a single individual institution. But what you saw in the NFL yesterday or this week is the harbinger of what's going to take place in college athletics. And I think it's going to be a lot easier for corporations and businesses to do individual deals with multiple schools than try to do a blanket deal with a league that doesn't exist. And by that, I mean, the SEC is a league. If I wanted to buy into the SEC, I'm really not buying into the SEC. I'm only buying into the top 3 or 4 equity producing schools. Why do I want to subsidize Vanderbilt? Why do I want to subsidize Ole Miss or something like that? Same thing in the, why do I want to buy Purdue when all I really want is Ohio State and Michigan or Penn State? The equity deals that will come in college football will be on an individual school basis. And if I'm Texas Tech, I'm absolutely looking at that right now. If I'm Kirby Hocutt, I'm Dr. Lawrence Skuvenik, and somebody comes to me and they want to give me an infusion of capital for an equity stake in it going forward, okay, that sounds like a professional sports team in a business, doesn't it? Yes, that's where we're going, isn't it? That's where we are, isn't it? Man, if you do that, then the players might become employees, and you'd have to have a collectively bargained agreement where you could actually control cost and expenditure, regulate that over years at a time, 4, 6, 7, 8 years at a time, know what your expenses are going to be. Well, that seems like a horrible idea. Why don't we just keep doing it the way we're doing it? Yeah, that'll be much better. So remember, we had this conversation on down the road because what happened this week with the NFL and ESPN, the equity stake that NFL gets with ESPN, selling off part of their properties, getting 10% into the company, doesn't have anything to do with coverage. It has to do with maximizing revenue. Remember, we talked about this because that's the route that the major programs are going to go to. And they'll get there before the conferences can do it. The conferences are unwieldy. They're a horrible business plan. And tonight, if you just want to talk about Texas Tech football and why you think they're going to be better than 9 wins, or last night we asked you, what is underachieving for Texas Tech? The Vegas win total 8.5. People saying anything less than 10 wins, underachieving. People saying anything less than playing the Big 12 title game, underachieving. No, you can do that. We could, and we will tomorrow, talk about three players that I think everybody will know their name at the end of the season that are not Baron Morton, Roberts, Rodriguez, your Coy Aiken, that there will be 3 players that I think that people will know their name by the end of the year. And if they don't, I'll tell you why that's a horrible thing for Texas Tech. One of them you might be able to guess tonight. 2, I don't know. One of them you might be able to guess tonight. But names that you must have known at the end of the year. Trace jumps back in. Less than 7.5 wins, underachieving. No, yeah, I'd say that's almost fireable offense. I would say this: if Joey McGuire wins only 6 games this coming year, or 7 games, he might be replaced. That's just the reality of the landscape. Yeah, 100%. 7 wins. If you only get 7 wins, you got trouble in River City. Underachieving is 9 wins given the roster and schedule. I disagree. You can say the roster, but not the schedule. The schedule is very difficult. The schedule has some of your toughest games, almost all of your toughest games on the road. I think the only really tough game you get at home is Andy Reid and BYU. Your other top candidates, top contenders, and everything else this year, the schedule is not a friend to Texas Tech. And that is one reason why people are discounting Texas Tech to get to the Big 12 championship game, is that the toughest games you're going to play, for the most part, they are on the road, and they're places like Kansas State where you've not played well. So I would disagree with the roster portion of your discussion right there, Alan. James, I want 10 wins, but expect 9. JC gets on a Facebook page right there, right highest rated on that on Facebook. Everybody watch it on Facebook. You got Facebook. Looking at James with his Facebook logo. Everybody watching on YouTube. Hit like, hit share. Thanks for being out there. We appreciate it. So a union is necessary just to comply with existing antitrust and labor laws. Question. Sad average life of a player is probably 2.5 years. Average life as a college player now is about 8 years, according to what I've seen since COVID. That said, yes, a union must exist in order to control cost, in order to get around antitrust laws, and in order to do what all the college football fans want, which is to put the colleges back in charge of eligibility, transfer rules, a salary cap, anything else. No union, no CBA. No CBA, no happiness for college football fans. Arizona State regresses this season. Sam Levitt says no. Utah isn't improving much either. 10 or 2 or bust. All right, that's fine. You get Utah after playing 3 nobodies. Go on the road there. Kyle Whittingham seeing what he can do. I don't know that Arizona State regresses that much because they lose Cam, and then they've got more productivity by percentage, snaps and otherwise, offense, defense, than anybody in the conference. The next best team is Texas Tech, by the way. 79% for Arizona State, returning productivity across all 3 sides of the ball. Tech at 73, Baylor at 72% on that metric, if you think it matters. Now, Texas Tech has added to the metric. Did Arizona State add to the metric? We'll find out. But you just can't tell me that Arizona State regresses just because they had a flyer last year. I don't buy that. 10 or 2 or bust. I'll say this. I think you got to have 10 games, 10 wins to get into the Big 12 title game this year. Because, again, the problem with Texas Tech with the schedule is you've got to play 4 of the most likely 6 teams. And you You got to do that on the road against a lot of them. You don't get to play Baylor. Which Baylor anywhere from number 1, number 6, depending on who you ask. But if you go 2-1, 2-2 against Utah, Kansas State, Arizona State, BYU, if you go 2-2 against that, I don't think you get into the Big 12 title game. You got to go 3-1 against that, which means you have no ability to lose any games at home this year, is really what we get down to. A few minutes left. Daily broadcast, having fun tonight. Ultra Exteriors here in West Texas. Roof, windows, siding, bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels. You don't like your fireplace. You call Warren Taylor. You say, hey, Ultra Exteriors. Heard about you on theraiderland.com. Fire and Ice Outdoor Living. Once they get done fixing up your exteriors, then, you head over to Fire and Ice. You get you that new grill, that new smoker. Life is good. And they got so much more than that. I'm serious. Go check out the Fire and Ice Facebook page. Whew, goodness. Good stuff. We got another regressing to the mean. What is the mean anymore in college football when you have so many players coming in and out and leaving and going? What is the mean? JC wants to change the laws, but don't create unions to fit square peg in a round hole. Baylor plays no one. Tech plays three toughest games on schedule on the road. 11 wins. I'm not moving off it. Great show. Got to mow. All right, well, Thursday is the day we mow in Raiderland, just like without kick and screen caps. But if you got to mow on a Wednesday, I understand. But you mow midweek, so you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. The pros mow on Thursday, or in this case with JC Wednesday. And really, you can't change the laws. You're not changing laws. You're abiding by the laws. So abide by the laws, allow them to unionize, and then you follow the law, and then you own them, just like the NFL. This is what I understand with colleges and universities and athletic administrators and even some college football fans. The NFL owns the players' union. The NFL just destroys the players' union. The weakest union in all of professional sports is the NFL Players Association. It would be the same way in college football for some of the very same reasons. David, the mean is the team in North Texas. That's right. We had a random tangent discussion earlier, David. I'm glad you're here. I know you've been doing radio all week, and you're incredibly tired doing TV as well. The original, and you may not know this because this was actually right before you got to Lubbock. Jeff Klotzman's original co-anchor on KJTV 34, Fox News at 9. At News it's 9. At 10 it's Whiskey. Not Sean Lindsay. It was before her. The original anchor ended up marrying, I believe, a former Arizona Diamondback player who I cannot think of the name of. And I hope I'm giving you enough there on that. I can picture her, but it was Klotzman and this porcelain blonde, late 90s. Now, I understand, JC, and I'm sorry that you got a funeral out there and everything else. Erica Monroe, not Eric Monroe, unless something changed. Which in 2025, I guess it could have changed to Eric, which would be awkward for Matt Williams. Yes, Erica Monroe. Erica Monroe married Matt Williams. Thank you. That was the original pairing there when they launched News at 9. The discussion about that, David, was simply because we were talking about the history of NFL on Fox and how later in the 90s, the Fox Corporation came to all their affiliates and said, if you want to keep the NFL on Fox, you have to launch a news product. You've got to do something. And Raymar said, all right, Klotz, get over here, do something. Diamondbacks, third baseman. Clay, what's up, bro? How are you? Happy Wednesday. I'm good. Hope you're well. I can't wait for college football. Everybody keeps telling me that Florida Gators will not win this year. I don't know what they're going to win and what they're not going to win. Giants third baseman that would have broke home run record if not for the strike in what, 94? Yeah, what I can't remember now what pace he was on. Was he on that pace? There were so many storylines that year. The biggest one for us was that the Texas Rangers actually had a chance to win a division for the first time and make the playoffs, and then it was a great year for the Expos. I'd forgotten that about Matt Williams there. And welcome to the segment of random baseball players from the 90s here on the daily broadcast, brought to you in part by Ultra Exteriors here in West Texas. Fire and Ice Outdoor Living. You got to check out their place there. It's on Woodrow Road down by the high school, not too far off that direction. Go there. Look on their Facebook page though. Lots of eye candy out there for you guys who like to grill and put together cool outdoor living spaces. And by United Supermarkets in Market Street. David Collier could not communicate with us if not for United in Market Street right now. He would just be sitting there staring at his phone, going, "What the hell's Hyatt talking about? And why is he talking about this?" Which would put him there with my wife. JC, that's why there is a random Fox at West Texas out of Abilene, Angelo, Midland, not sure. Yeah, that was part of it. What was it? KRBC, KTBC? I can't remember. What's the one out of Abilene? A lot of the one in Abilene. No, I'm thinking of CBS affiliate there. I think. Now I'm confusing myself. Hell. Anyhow, that's why a lot of them began doing some news products. Some of the Fox affiliates already had it before Fox 34 did under Amar in the late 90s. But that's why it all happened, was that they were saying, all right, if you want to maintain your ability to have Fox as a network, you got to have a news product. You got to clear Simpsons. You got to clear Married with Children back in the day. All those good things. Whatever else they had. I can't even remember. So they did, and they started Fox News at 9, which I thought was an interesting concept when they started the news at 9. I really did. I thought, okay, nobody knows who you are. You kind of suck at this thing right off the bat. Go at 9, see what happens. Yeah, KRBC, Rolling Plains or something like that. KTAB, and CBS, both same ownership. Good call. I had some friends work at the one in Abilene there at KRBC, I guess. Not anyone I know right offhand that I knew working Midland or St. Angelo back in the day. At news, it's 9. At 10, it's history, dog. Nope. The line, when it first started, again, I'll say it one more time. At news, it's 9. At 10, it's whiskey. See you at Fox and Hound. We'll be there in 8 minutes. And so it was. Ah, those were the days. All right, you guys are the best. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to visit with you again tomorrow. Big Thursday show. We're going to combine What If Wednesday into Thursday. Over underrated right Thursday. I don't know what else. Some Texas Tech stuff, I'm sure. Big 12. Maybe the Rangers will do something. We'll make fun of Jerry Jones. The main thing, we want you guys to have a good time and share this with your friends. So put it out there on your social media feeds, whether it's Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media for us, whether it's our Facebook page for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, our YouTube channel, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Share, hit like, all that stuff. But just share it. Put it out there. And if you can, go to our great sponsors like Ultra Exteriors, Fire and Ice Outdoor, United Supermarkets. Hit them up on their social media page. They're all on Facebook. And go there. And anybody who's doing a program or anything that you like and you hear a sponsor, go to the sponsors page and tell them thanks. It means more than just about other than going in their store and buying like thousands of dollars of stuff, which we highly recommend. All right, we've done all the damage we can do. Thank you, David Carr, for getting Erica Monroe into the broadcast. Maybe the first time in 25 years that I have said the name Erica Monroe in any sort of broadcast. That's the commitment we have to you guys to getting it right here at theraiderland.com.